Teacher immediately regrets sending girl home without pants after her dad shows up. Nathan Thomas stormed into the school's office fueled with rage. His mind was racing a million miles an hour. The students and teachers stopped for a moment, fearing for their safety. But they weren't the targets of his rage. Thomas was heading toward the school principal's office to make the person responsible pay for what they'd done to his little girl, and he wasn't going to stop until justice was served. Nathan Thomas and his family had recently moved from Florida. His 9-year-old daughter, Jamie, was getting ready to start her day off at a new Christian school. It began like every other weekday morning, but when he dropped her off at school, he had no idea that he would be fuming in a few short hours. When the school day ended, little Jamie got on the bus ready to head home, but she wasn't her normal happy self. She was shaking in her seat, bawling her eyes out over something that happened at school earlier that day. She was still crying when the bus arrived home, and Thomas noticed straight away. Concerned and overwhelmed, he asked her what was wrong, but then he saw something that shook him to the core. The moment he saw his daughter crying, he promised himself he would make the person responsible pay. Who could have hurt his little girl? Was it another student? Did a boy tease her during lunch? He had to figure out what had happened, and he knew he'd get more answers if he paid the school a visit. But once he learned the truth, he realized that those who had sworn to protect Jamie when he wasn't around had completely failed her. Thomas lifted his daughter's shirt up, suspecting that something was amiss, and immediately realized that her pants were missing. Horrified, the man dropped his daughter off at home and then drove to the school to get answers on why his daughter came home in that state. They obviously had no idea that someone had messed with the wrong girl, but they were about to find out. It was difficult to think straight given how angry he was. He was trying to figure out what to do to the person responsible once he got to the school. His muscles were twitching as he slammed the door to his car, closed, and stormed into the school. Thomas flung one door open after another until he made it to the principal's office. That's when he met with the principal's assistant, who recognized him straight away and jumped back when he demanded to know why Jamie was sent home without any pants. The principal's assistant was terrified and had every right to be. I asked the assistant principal why my daughter was sent home in just panties and a t-shirt, and she begins to tell me we thought she had a long enough shirt to be able to put her on the school bus and send her home, Thomas told an unnamed source. But that wasn't the most shocking thing of all. "Where are my daughter's pants?" Thomas shouted. Then the principal's assistant explained that they were confiscated, which left him confused. Only her mom and dad were allowed to remove her pants. This made absolutely no sense. How could a school authority think it'd be remotely okay to do this to a child? The answer left him flabbergasted. He knew it couldn't have been the dress code because Jamie's pants were long enough, but what had she done that would merit asking her to remove her pants? Something was off. Then the principal joined the discussion, but he didn't seem one bit concerned about how angry Thomas was. Thomas was hoping that the principal would take responsibility for what had happened, or at the very least provide him with a plausible explanation as to why anyone thought they had the right to remove his daughter's pants. Then the principal calmly sat at his desk and pulled out a file. He also opened the school's rule book and smirked as he placed the school's code of conduct alongside Thomas's signed contract. Thomas read the paragraph the principal pointed to, which said, "Parents who enroll their children in our school know up front that we ask the students to adhere to a lifestyle informed by our Christian beliefs." Then the assistant opened a drawer and pulled out the little girl's pants for him to see. "This is why," said the principal as he pointed to the rainbow prints on Jamie's pants. "What am I looking at?" Thomas barked. His daughter loved rainbows. Surely this wasn't the reason the school took her pants off, was it? "We do not endorse LGBTQ pride," the principal explained. Thomas was shocked. Most people know that rainbows are synonymous with the LGBTQ community. But his daughter simply loved rainbows, and if his daughter would have been a part of the LGBT community, he wouldn't have had any issues with that either. What could he do to fix this mess? Thomas, who is reportedly a bodybuilder with many YouTube followers, used his fame to talk about intolerance, which is something he never expected his daughter to experience at such an early age. This put the school in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Thomas stated that the school rulebook and the way they dealt with his daughter's rainbow print pants was not right. Thomas wasn't just angry because of the discrimination against the LGBTQ community. He was upset because his daughter was left vulnerable and humiliated as she wasn't wearing pants, so he hired a lawyer to make the school pay for their mistake. Now that we come here, we have all these issues. There's obviously something more going on than what we're seeing, Jamie's parents explained. It wasn't long before other parents heard what had happened and they were mad too. How could the school have approached this situation differently? Jamie's mom wondered why the school had left their little girl without any pants all day rather than contact them. There are 4 contacts on our daughter's emergency card. Pick up the phone and call us. We will come to fetch our child, she said. Then other parents weighed in. Other concerned parents couldn't believe that this had happened to Jamie. One person commented, "They did what? This is unacceptable. Someone better be punished if not sued. This isn't something that's just going to go away. This child will be haunted her whole entire life. They should have called the parents to come and get her." But how did the school respond? The school released a statement that suggested that they stood by their decisions because they couldn't allow students to violate the code of conduct. They also implied that Jamie's parents had other options if they didn't want their daughter to attend a school with Christian values. Fortunately, it wasn't too late. Jamie's parents decided to look for another school, preferably one that was accepting of everyone's differences, to avoid a similar incident like the one they had with that particular Christian school.